Surprising no one, I'm actually not done talking about AI art. Generative AI is the shiny little rock that every company is still scrambling to get their little claws on. Up until and including now, it's been these half-baked, desperate ploys to show everyone how cutting edge and up-to-date they are. Broadly, I don't like generative AI, but I especially don't like it when I see it in creative spaces. With the kind of audience I have, I'm betting on not having to go into detail about that, but summed up, it is the antithesis of art. It is the antimatter to matter, except it's even worse because antimatter actually at least plays a function by releasing energy. These days, it seems like every company is trying to glob generative AI onto their system one way or another, and that includes YouTube. Even if you don't have a YouTube channel of your own, you might have noticed a lot of larger YouTubers replying to a lot more comments than they ordinarily would. But don't be fooled. Although some of these are obviously real replies written by the YouTuber, a lot of them are actually AI generated by YouTube, purposefully in a way that tries to mimic the typical writing style of the YouTuber, and then they're later just approved by the YouTuber. And yeah, this increases the total amount of comments that get replies, but I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose. But something you might not have seen if you aren't a YouTube creator is what's called the Inspiration tab. On YouTube Studio, which is basically the center for uploading videos and seeing analytics about your content, if you click Content now, the first tab is something called Inspiration. Now, when I first saw this, I was intrigued. I like getting inspired. What does this mean? But then I clicked on it, and all of the hopes and dreams fled from my body because YouTube's Inspiration tab is just a horde of AI slop. And today I'm going to show you just how bad these AI generated video ideas can get for my little art channel, because I'm challenging myself to pick 3 of the ideas and actually execute them in this video. If you're new here, hello, I'm Saidi. I'm an artist and writer, and during the daytime, I'm a neuroscience researcher. I'm still really new to talking to a camera and using a microphone, so if you're taking the time to be here, thank you. Alright, let's get into this video. So we're gonna take a look at my wonderful AI-generated YouTube Inspiration tab. A lot of the options are kind of normal and on the boring side, like digital art trends, or art supply unboxing, first impressions, just really standard art videos that there are already a flood of on YouTube. But then some of them get a little weird. Can I draw your cloud head? Like, what is he saying? Cloud head? Is that like is that a cigarette? I really like this one. Why your OC looks like strangers. Drawing taste, TV static, and Oreo sushi. A unique sensory experience is explored by translating the visual texture of TV static and the unexpected combination of Oreo sushi into digital art. Decoding TV static flavor in art. The enigmatic TV static flavor in art is explored in this video, revealing its unique aesthetic and impact on artistic expression. Some of them sound like accusations or complaints, like, fans' OCs look like my OC. The remarkable similarities between fan-created original characters and the channel's own OC are explored. That sounds like a lawsuit. This one's kind of on the nose. AI art versus my human art. A side-by-side comparison of AI-generated art and human-created art is explored, allowing for a unique perspective on the evolving landscape of digital creativity. But some of them are just flat-out insane, and I think by far my favorite is My Secret to Inventing New Colors? A journey into the world of color creation could be explored. The techniques and inspirations behind inventing new hues could be revealed. I love this one because not only does it assume that I know how to create a new color, it also assumes that I've been keeping it a secret from everyone. Something that really took me by surprise is that it looks like the AI also combs through your comment sections to try to get an idea of what your videos are about. On a recent speed paint I uploaded as a YouTube short of a CD, I got a hate comment that says, "How do you turn a disc into slop? I'm being so dead ass." And YouTube's incredible AI took that and turned it into something beautiful. The Disc to Slop Mystery, a drawing challenge. A captivating journey is embarked upon as a drawing is transformed from a precise disc into an amorphous slop. Oh my god. I think that has to be at least one of the ones that I end up going with. I think that's gonna be our first challenge, the Disc to Slop Mystery. I mean, this really is a goldmine of incredible YouTube ideas. I never have to think another day in my life. Why would I try to come up with my own YouTube video ideas when I can draw a dozen Dobermans and Shopkins viewer requests? Or even better, drawing viewers' mom. Viewers' MBTI personality types are explored through the creation of a unique character embodying their mom archetype. What's a mom archetype? Oh my gosh, I just refreshed to get more ideas and I got drawing Shopkins and Dobermans. Reacting to wild, what did you put in it theories? Audience theories regarding unusual ingredients in the creator's digital art are reacted to. The unexpected emotional toll of creating art. The science of glowing pasta art. That's honestly really up my alley. I think that's gonna be our second challenge. What if my art style was different? Guys, have you ever considered like, yo, dude, yo, what if my art style was different? What if my art style was like different than it is though? All right, we need one more prompt. Come on, give me something good. Debunking art myths. Why pasta glows. The surprising reasons behind why pasta can appear to glow. What if Walter White was an art subject? A familiar face given a new artistic interpretation. Yep, that's gonna be our third challenge. Oh no. Okay, let's do this. Alright, the disc to slop mystery. How a precise disc can be turned to an amorphous slop. I'm not an animator, but I feel like I can't justify doing something that isn't animation, or at least trying to be animation for this one. So my game plan is to draw a disc, and then on Procreate's little like animation assist program, because that I don't know how to do anything else with animating, we're gonna make it turn into slop. Yeah, that's pretty disc shape, I would say. You'd think after drawing 2 discs 2 days in a row, I'd have it down, but I surprise everyone. Does it look like a CD? I feel like it looks kind of like a CD. You know those people who will come up to you and they'll be like, wow, you're such a good drawer. I can't even draw a circle. Me neither, dude. I don't think any of us can. Oh man, this isn't even complicated, but like, for the purposes of me doing an animation, this might be way too complicated. Alright, I'm calling it a day. This is our CD, okay? Now we gotta make it slop. Okay, I think I'm done, not because it looks good, but because it's been more than 15 minutes, and apparently even that is too long for my brain to spend on trying to animate, so this is the finished product. And there we have it, disc turning into a slop. And I would say that this was the best content ever made, but it's not, because we have 2 more. Alright, so next we're tackling the science of glowing pasta art. But if you remember, another one of the prompts was debunking art myths. Why pasta glows. Clearly the AI is trying to tell me something about it actually being a myth. So I'm thinking we go into a little bit of both. As someone who works in the sciences, I'm very concerned with conveying this information properly. So I think the right way to go about this is a presentation. As you can see, I'm in a new outfit, and that's because for the past few months, I've hijacked my laboratory for the purposes of further investigating this. I've compiled my findings into a Google Slides presentation, which I'll present to you now. The science of glowing pasta, debunking art myths. I've been seeing a lot of conversations about this going around, but it's really just been pure speculation, and I do not appreciate pseudoscience. Hopefully we'll be able to clear most of it up today. Glowing pasta isn't a new phenomenon. In fact, it's so prevalent that it can be seen represented in lots of contemporary art forms. It even made an appearance in one of my own recent pieces. Now, I decided to investigate this in-house, so I made my own batch of pasta just for this. As you can see, it is undeniably glowing. It's luminescent. The yellow vibrance is so intense that it's making everything else around it look purple. No one has ever disputed the fact that it is glowing, and no one ever will. But the real question is why? As scientists, we're not only interested in observation, we're interested in causality. To take a closer look, I recruited an electron microscope which produced this image. Editor, if we could enhance. You got it. Thank you. So even on this macro scale, we're already getting a glimpse of what's happening molecularly. And if we zoom in a little more, we'll see that this stuff is made of science. In this photograph, you can see the science. And as we all know, one of the potential symptoms of science is glowing. We see it all the time in all kinds of science pictures like these. This isn't new. But as with everything, we have to approach this with a level of scrutiny, because if we take a step back and view our original image, as we established about 20 seconds ago, there isn't even a semblance of any kind of glowing, and we never said there was. But of course, science is an enduring conversation, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And with that, we move on to the final and by far most arduous task, making a heartfelt portrait of none other than Walter Hartwell White. Not only was I tasked with drawing an evil middle-aged man, I also for some reason chose probably the most difficult image of him for me to draw, this front-facing portrait shot. I'm sure I'm not the only artist who dreads drawing forward-facing views, especially when the subject is staring directly at you. But a deal was a deal. I accepted this challenge, and I had to see it through. I started off by blocking some very loose shapes and colors. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling pretty good at the beginning. I had just drawn a portrait a couple days ago using that brush, so I felt kind of in the groove. But as I started to make a little more progress and started carving out the shadows and highlights, I realized something terrible. This didn't look like Walter White at all, or even any living human being. On my screen was this jarring wax mannequin, gazing at me with vacant eyes. To be honest, I almost gave up at this point. I seriously considered stopping where I was and admitting defeat. But then I asked myself, if Walter were in my shoes, what would he do? I contended with the indisputable truth that if Walter were tasked with drawing a portrait of Walter, he would see it through to the very end. I attacked the iPad with all of my strength. Colors were flinging themselves off the screen. I knew what I had to do. And eventually, coated in blood, sweat, and a mysterious blue substance, I had finished it. I conquered the challenge. I had drawn Walter White. Also, my boyfriend, who is a super talented artist, decided to join in on this one and draw a Walter White screen cap in his own art style, which came out so cool. He posts his art on Instagram at Galactic Brains with a Z at the end. Go check him out and he will personally hand deliver 5,000 Canadian dollars to your doorstep. Now that we've made it through all 3 challenges, I think it's important that we step back and really think about what we've learned today. YouTube's AI inspiration tab scours our videos, captions, and even our comment sections, all in an attempt to generate complete video ideas so that we don't have to. But does this mean that it's better than coming up with original ideas on your own? Yes, I realized that being an artist isn't about being creative, it's about doing what computer tell me to do. If I'm not doing horrendous abomination or petible creature challenge, or exploding the myth of glowing pasta, then what am I doing? So I'm editing right now, but I just really need you guys to hear this. So I discovered that actually if you click on one of the thumbnails, or like the little blurbs, I guess, for the AI generated video ideas, it actually gives you a lot more than just a little idea and the thumbnail. It gives you hooks, it gives you a complete outline for your video with all these bullet points of what to say. It gives you a bunch of alternative thumbnail ideas. It's crazy and it's kind of terrifying. But anyway, I clicked on the description for the exploding the myth of glowing pasta, and I want you guys to hear how interesting these 3 hooks are. So the first one is a question-based hook. Ever wondered if your leftover pasta could double as a nightlight? We've all seen those fantastical images of glowing pasta, but is there any truth to this delicious-sounding myth? Prepare to have your culinary curiosities ignited as we dive deep into the science, or lack thereof, behind glowing pasta and debunk a truly illuminating legend. Like, this is so crazy to me because it seems like the AI has this strange idea that glowing pasta is actually this, like, widespread, massively popular belief, which is just so interesting to me. And then we have the myth-busting hook. Forget fairy dust, it's time to talk about glowing pasta. This popular culinary myth has captured imaginations for years, but what if I told you that your spaghetti isn't secretly a bioluminescent organism? Join us as we expose the surprising truth and reveal why your dinner plate won't be lighting up the room anytime soon. And then finally we've got the intrigue-based hook. Imagine a world where your dinner literally lights up. The idea of glowing pasta sounds incredible, right? But before you start adding radioactive ingredients to your bolognese, let's pull back the curtain on this widespread belief. Get ready to uncover the fascinating reasons why this culinary fantasy is just that, a fantasy. It's really a lot more than what I went into in this video, so maybe I'll dive into more of it later, because it's insane. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope I see you in the next video.